Hello, and thank you for your interest in learning about how to submit a project proposal to the Center for Inspiring Minds for the 2016-2017 school year. I'm Ben Wren, and together with Program Manager Latifa Hassanali, we're here to help you prepare your project proposal. We're available to meet any time prior to the 13th of April deadline and encourage you to contact us if you have an idea for a project. We can tell you more about the criteria the heads of school will use to review your proposal and help you submit a proposal that provides all the information they will need to make their decision. In this webinar, we will be walking you through the proposal form step by step. You will find an electronic version of the form on the CIM website. The form is a Word document, and the response boxes are Word tables that will expand as you type. There's no minimum or maximum word count for your responses, but we suggest that you respond using concise and precise language. The first section asks you for the name of your project. The name should be like the title of a non-fiction book, descriptive and brief. Past projects have had names like Native Language Enrichment, Outdoor Learning, Talking in Class, and Student Reflection. The start date is the month and year you expect to start working on the project. Note that successful projects will be announced in mid-May, so May 2016 is the earliest start date possible. The end date is the month and year when the project will be completed. Again, please note that a CIM project is up to 1 year long, so June 2017 is the latest end date possible. The second section asks you to record information about yourself. Please note that if you decide to have 2 co-leaders, you will need to list both people in this section. Most of our past projects have had a single project leader, but 2 have involved co-leaders. If you choose to have co-leaders, it should be on the basis that both leaders will be highly involved in the project. And please note that a project led by co-leaders must still have a project team. The third section asks you to name the members of your project team. You must have at least 2 people on your project team, 3 if you have co-leaders. Your team must include members from at least 2 campuses. And please keep in mind that the heads of school will rate projects with team members from 3 or 4 campuses higher than those with representation from the minimum of 2. Also note that the people you name as team members must agree to be named, but that agreeing to be included at the proposal stage does not constitute an absolute commitment. As teaching assignments and roles may change right up until the opening days of the school year, some team members may find that they are not able to take part in your project. The next 5 sections ask you to describe your research project design, beginning with the research question. The research question is the heart of the proposal. It must be important to you and the learners you work with. Ideally, it should also support or relate to wider education initiatives being addressed at your campus or across several campuses. A good way to begin to think about your research question is to ask yourself, what do my students need me to do to make them more successful? And how do I think my efforts will change learner outcomes? To write your question, consider beginning with the following prompt. How will, and fill in the action you will take. With, fill in the students you will be working with. And improve, fill in how you hope the action will change learner outcomes. Let's look at 2 examples from past projects. How can the use of a deep culture inventory in our high school advisory program enhance understanding of personal cultural identity? And a second research question. How can blended learning be used to accelerate language learning in the Native Language Enrichment program? Note that both examples begin by stating the proposed activity or intervention. In the first example, the use of a deep culture inventory. And in the second example, the use of blended learning. Also notice that the second part of each question states the anticipated learner outcome. In the first example, the learner outcome is an enhanced understanding of personal cultural identity, and in the second example, the learner outcome is accelerated language learning. Also note that in both examples, the research question identifies the specific students who will be involved. In the first example, students in the high school advisory program, and in the second example, students participating in the Native Language Enrichment program. To summarize, a good research question focuses on specific learner outcomes, specifies the proposed intervention, and identifies which students will be involved. It may also support strategic aims for the development of our education program at the campus or whole school level, although this is not required. The next section asks you to describe the purpose of the proposed project. This is where you can explain how your project relates to wider division level, campus level, or school level strategic priorities or initiatives. Examples of strategic priorities include recent efforts to introduce mindfulness to advisory programs, to develop division-wide approaches to support student socio-emotional development, and to use technology tools to accelerate and enhance learning. You can learn more about your campus's strategic priorities by speaking to your head of school. The next section asks you to describe the outcome of the proposed project, the change in student learning. This section should explain the learner outcome you stated in your research question. It should be stated in terms that are measurable. You will describe the methods you may use to measure the outcome in the evaluation section that follows. Keep in mind that your project may also produce a new resource, such as a rubric or a publication, for example. Please describe these in this section, but keep in mind that these are considered outputs, physical artifacts that can be used again in your practice or by others. And while these are valuable and may be needed for your project, CIM projects must focus on the learner outcomes that arise from their use, and not the production of the resources alone. This section asks you to briefly describe the process, the sequence of activities or steps you will use to carry out your project. This section should provide information about how you will get started, how you will involve your project team, how you will develop and implement your project, and how you will conclude your work by the end of the school year. This section asks you to describe the methods you will use to evaluate your project. This includes existing student data you will use or data you will collect to understand your starting point, formative student data you will use to make judgments about progress, and summative data you will use to evaluate the effectiveness of your project's intervention. It also includes project evaluation methods you will use to monitor your progress. How will you know if you're on track? And how will you judge whether or not you're successful? The Resource Needs section replaces the proposed budget section. It presents a series of questions about resources you think you may or may not need to carry out your project. Please answer these as accurately as possible and seek clarification from the CIM team for questions you do not understand. In this last section, please indicate your level of professional experience with each of the practice areas. Your responses to these questions will not be used to judge your proposal. They're intended to help the CIM team better understand, plan for, and support the development of our project leaders. The deadline for project proposals for the 2016-2017 school year is Wednesday, the 13th of April 2016, the first week back after our spring break. Proposals may be submitted any time prior to the deadline. The heads of school will use a scoring rubric to assess and select the proposals for the 2016-2017 school year. Please review the rubric to better understand how your proposal will be scored. The form is available on the CIM website. Individuals who submitted project proposals will learn about the heads of school decision on or before the 9th of May. Successful project proposals will be announced to the school community on Thursday, the 19th of May at the Celebration of Learning. Everyone who has submitted a project proposal is encouraged to attend. If you are considering leading or participating in a CIM project and you are not familiar with Action Research, we recommend that you enroll in the Getting Started with Action Research online course. The 10-week course meets once a week after school for 90 minutes, and it involves about 90 minutes a week of self-study in between the live sessions. The content for the course has been co-developed by the Center for Inspiring Minds, working in partnership with Harvard Graduate School of Education staff members. The next course begins on the 24th of February, and to register, please contact Latifa Hassanali. We do plan to offer the course again in autumn 2016 and spring 2017. To keep informed about the work of current project teams and other opportunities available through CIM, please visit the CIM website. You can also look for termly editions of our in-house newsletter in staff rooms and online, and watch for monthly email notices providing information about upcoming events. If you have questions about anything we've mentioned in this brief presentation, or you would like to meet to discuss your project ideas, please contact Latifa or myself. Thank you for watching. We look forward to working with you.